Hi everyone and welcome back. My name is Tristan and today I have a pretty interesting project that I want to talk to you guys about. So to give you the short and sweet version of this, I have collected about 10 different YouTubers to help me work on this project. And it's an experiment, right? So for those of you who are familiar with like some of the big Minecraft YouTubers, there is a very popular um, series going on called Hermitcraft. They just started Hermitcraft Season 7 and it's pretty neat. I actually enjoy watching it. But what really stuck out to me, especially as a YouTube professional, was that they were able to generate 30 million views and 1 million new subscribers in their first 30 days of this new season that they started. And so I sat down and started looking over a bunch of the different YouTube documentation that we have. So like the deep neural networks for learning system for recommendation systems, and then the other one is called latent cross. And these are the two white papers that Google has provided for us that kind of explain how the different systems work. And as I was reading through these and I was thinking about Hermitcraft again, then it kind of stood out to me, right? And what's basically going on is that Hermitcraft as a whole is taking advantage of these different systems that are built into the recommendation systems. And it's really, really, really cool how they're doing this, and that's how they're able to get this really crazy growth. Some of these channels went from 100,000 subscribers to over 1 million subscribers in just a couple of months. And it's just kind of bonkers. And the way that they're doing this is through manipulating these YouTube algorithms. So the idea is basically like this. We know from the main systems, right, that the main thing that the system is looking for, the main thing the algorithm wants, is to maximize expected watch time per impression in seconds, right? So they want to see how long people are actually watching your video once they clicked on it. And what the second document, Latent Cross, does is it gives us a little bit more context, or it provides context to the algorithm, so that way those recommendations become a little bit smarter. So for example, it looks at where a video is actually being shown, whether it's being a recommendation, whether it's a homepage recommendation, it's looking at the device that the user is using, and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty interesting, but the part that we're most interested in right now for this particular experiment is that it says that when they are originally training the algorithm, or like whenever there's a new user in the system, then what they'll do is they'll watch the user's search history and view history over the past 7 days, and they're also looking at the last 100 videos that user has watched on YouTube. And then what it does is it compares that view history, right, or that search history, to other users on the platform in order to segregate them into different groups. We call them clusters, okay? And then what happens is they'll look at this cluster and say, well, all right, so if this person is 94% compatible with this other cluster, like Netflix does this too. You know how you go into Netflix and it shows you like, there's a 98% chance you're going to like this series. It's the exact same thing. In fact, that's kind of where their systems came from. They actually borrowed this from YouTube. So they'll be like, all right, well, this person fits like 98% of this cluster. And if most of this cluster really likes this particular content creator, then we're going to go ahead and promote the same content creator to you as a viewer because you have all these similar viewing habits. Now, what happens from there is pretty interesting. Now, what that means is that because the system's set up this way, it's actually something we can manipulate, okay? So, for example, if you have a channel and you have a video that's doing really well, and say that there's another YouTuber that has a very similar audience that you'd love to reach, and they kind of have like a similar video, then what you can do is if you take your viewers and if you send them to this other channel, the bigger channel, and they have the same rate of engagement as they do on your own channel, if it's a high rate of engagement, then you can actually trick the algorithm into thinking, okay, all this audience really, really likes both your channel and this other channel. And so since we see a lot of crossover from your channel and with this other channel, we're actually going to start promoting your channel to the other channel's audience too. And we're going to see if we can cross promote between these two different sources because the audience really is engaging with this particular type of content. And this is something that we call audience infection, and it's kind of cool. I've actually managed to use it to generate a little over 3.5 million views on another channel that I work on with a client, and it's pretty darn bonkers. It's pretty cool. So how do we use that in combination with YouTube collaboration? How's Hermitcraft using this, right? Like, that's the question. So the way they're doing it is, I guess you can call it like soft optimization, right? So we have our normal SEO. That's where we worry about your titles, your keywords, your tags, and all that other stuff. We're going to call that hard SEO. And part of it's still in there. So like, they're still like adding another channel's video to like their end screen, their cards, or the linking in the description or whatever. Like, that's still happening. But they're also going through and they're interacting with each other, and they're showing like different viewpoints of the same events, and like they're editing their videos a little bit differently. So if you want to get the whole story, you kind of need to watch both channels, right? And so what happens then is somebody watches that channel, they watch that first video, and they think, oh, this is really cool. I'd like to see kind of like the rest of it. And so then they go and they watch the next the person who is participating in that video's channel. They watch that video, and then we start to see that audience infection taking place, right? They're going from video 1 to watching video 2, even though video 2 is on a different channel. Now YouTube says, oh, these two content creators are similar. They're targeting the same viewer groups, and so we're going to promote these videos, both of these channels, to each other's audiences. And then it goes a little bit beyond that, because there's 20-something people on this channel, and they're all searching for Hermitcraft Season 7. They're all searching for these different builds, or like the games that they're having, or the different events. And so if, these two channels are doing really well, but then they know that people within this audience are also watching these other YouTubers, they're all kind of participating in the same things, all uploading the same kinds of videos. Well, now those videos are going to be promoted across those videos are going to be recommended to everybody, or on all those different channels. They're going to be recommended to that entire audience instead of just those two channels that kind of initiated everything. And so if you're able to do this kind of soft SEO, if you're able to interact with another YouTuber, if you're able to tell a story together, then you could, at least in theory, create a circling vortex of YouTube view death, right? So somebody starts watching one video, then they have to watch the next video, and then they have to watch the next video. And then when they come back the next day, all of a sudden they have 4 or 5 recommendations from that same group all appearing on their homepage. And is a very interesting and very effective method for growing a YouTube channel as a group. And we've actually seen quite a few examples of this. A lot of the other really big YouTubers who are out there, they also talk about these kinds of things. Daryl Eves talks a lot about how he worked with like the Piano Guys and Lindsey Sterling and Peter Holland and all these other kind of musicians in order to create their own segment, their own little viewer segment, their own little group, and get that cross promotion going across all the different channels. There are other channels. So, for example, you'll see a lot of really big YouTubers. They'll have like their main channel, and then they'll have like a whole bunch of smaller channels, and they kind of do the same thing. You start watching one video on one channel, and then you have to, like, that video is promoting another video on another channel, and that one promotes another video on another channel, and so on and so forth, until they're basically taking over all of your recommendations, and you don't have any choice but to watch these people. So that's kind of what we're doing over here. Like I said, I have 15 YouTubers right now who are all going to come and play on this Minecraft server with me. And what we're going to do first off is we are going to be targeting just some really simple keywords. We're going to be doing this in the form of challenges. So like the first challenge is to see who can grow the most carrots, all right? Because Minecraft carrots and their related keywords get about 148,000 searches a month, or it was 178,000. It's a lot of traffic. And so if we're able to get a couple of these videos to rank for those keywords, and if those videos perform well and we have this little chain set up, then all we really need is just one video to start ranking, and then all the other videos that are related to it are also going to start performing really well. And so I built this little server. We're going to go through and we're going to do some experimentation with it. We're going to do a couple of these challenges, and eventually we're going to launch our own discount Hermitcraft series that people are going to be able to watch. And I'm hoping to be able to generate the same effect that we see with Hermitcraft. Now, in theory, it should all work perfectly fine, and it should be really cool. And execution is always a little bit different, because we have to worry about people's schedules, we have to worry about people getting bored, we have a whole bunch of other challenges that are kind of built into it. So we're going to see how that goes, but I'm going to be going through and using all of my SEO knowledge, skills, and resources to get these videos to perform as at the highest level possible. And hopefully that will be enough to get people to stay and to continue to engage in the content, or helping us to create this content for this project to continue to move forward. So all in all, I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's going to be an interesting experiment. I'm really excited to see the results of this. And once I have a solid system in place for this, then I'm going to write that out and I'm going to add that to my course. So for those of you who don't know, I am actually doing, I guess you call it consulting and training for YouTube gamers. So if it's something that you'd be interested in signing up for, the system's currently in beta. So I'm accepting beta users right now. That is not free. It's $197, but that is a one-time lifetime payment. And you get access to the system forever. It's a Facebook group, and then it's pretty cool. So we're doing stuff like this. We're talking about running YouTube ads, and we're talking about monetization. We're talking about a whole bunch of other really neat stuff, and then doing like channel audits and keyword reports and all that kind of fun stuff. And unfortunately, nobody else plays Minecraft. Otherwise, we do this as a group as well, but that's okay. We just need to get more people in there so that we have a larger audience or group that we can work with for these kinds of experiments. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, I'll leave a link to that in the comments of this video. And I'll also leave a link to this whole project. So if you want to see me making carrot farms, or a whole group of us making carrot farms, then you can do that as well. And I highly recommend you guys check it out just to kind of see how we are applying all this stuff and see if any of it actually works, which I'm hoping it does. But that will do it for me and for this video. Hope you found this information interesting, and don't forget to check out the other channels and consider joining the Facebook group. Like I said, it's pretty cool. I'm really excited about it, and I'm kind of proud of the work that's gone into it. So that'll do it for me. Have a great day. See you again soon.